Welcome back. You're watching the ET Money Show with me, Kavita Thapliyal. Now, Indore Municipal Corporation has issued green municipal bonds with an aim to raise up to 244 crore to partly fund a solar power project in the city. This is the first time ever that a local body has issued green municipal bonds. The issue has received an overwhelming response from investors and has already attracted a subscription of around 721 crores. Let's welcome on board Pushyamitra Bhargav, Mayor of Indore, and Arnav Pandya, founder Moneyeduschool, to take the discussion forward. Good evening and welcome to the show. Mr. Bhargav, first question to you. Why green bonds? Now, as compared to a normal bond or the launch of a normal bond, why this choice, and what would be the difference behind the launching of these two type of bonds?
You might be aware the Finance Minister in the recent annual budget was talking about the municipal bonds. So even before she could mention or she was mentioning, we were ready with the bond, that is green bond, which got the approval of the SEBI before the budget was read out. The idea behind this budget or this green bond was that we were coming up with a 60 megawatt solar plants in Jalud in Khargone districts from where we pump the water for Indore. The cost for this generation of water supply to Indore is around 300 crores per year. The electric charges to the Indore Municipal Corporations. To overcome this fees of electricity, we have come up with a plan for installing a solar plant since it will be giving us green energy and rather will be reducing the generation part also. So in a way, for the generation of green energy and installing a solar plant, we have come up with the bonds, the public issue for the first time by any urban local body for the generation of green energy. Therefore, it's a green bond, a bond for the generation of green energy.
And look at the way you've got the response. I mean, it's fantabulous, right? It's one of the kind of a bond that you've come up with, and overwhelming response. How do you feel about that? What's the kind of feedback you're getting from investors, and what's in the talks?
That's the brand Indore. That's the image Indore has acquired by way of Swachh Bharat. We are continuously receiving the first position as far as the Swachhata is concerned. Indore is the cleanest city in India from last 6 times. It would be very relevant to mention recently Honorable Prime Minister was in Indore for Pravasi Bharati Sammelan, and he started his speech with the quote that Indore is a door, meaning thereby देश में जब दूसरे लोग या बाकी लोग कुछ काम करने के बारे में सोचते हैं तब तक इंदौर वो काम कर चुका होता है. तो इंदौर ने उसी दौर को कायम रखा है. The brand Indore has received this overwhelming response from the general public, citizens of Indore, and the investors also. And the idea and the leadership behind this green bond is our Honorable Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan. The trust and the faith in the government has given this overwhelming response.
I want to ask you more about your future plans on the same trajectory, but then let's understand this way of going green. So, Arnav, how do you look at these bonds, and what's your assessment?
See, bonds as an instrument is a form of debt whereby somebody is borrowing from you, and at the end of a certain period, you will get the money back. So, as an investor, when you are looking at the bond, you need to factor in 2, 3 things. One is the stability of the issuer, because ultimately, when you're lending someone money, your money has to come back. Second is the kind of return that you are getting. And third is also the fact that what is the tenure for which the amount is being lent. Now, if you look at green bonds, it also enables an investor to do good while investing, because the end purpose of the use of this money is for a better planet and a healthier climate. So, in this kind of green bond, the investor is achieving his primary goal, which is to lend money, get interest, earn something, and at the same time also do good. So it's a mixture of these two factors, which also makes these kind of bonds, one, new and also attractive for investors.
What about the interest rate? Looking at the current fixed income scenario, which is very promising at the moment, Arnav?
So if you look at the interest rates, they are better than what you would see for many other instruments in the market. What one thing has to be known, see, the bond is being issued by the Indore Municipal Corporation, which has a good credit rating. So in that case, it's not a cause for concern. Second thing is the actual rate is 8.25%, but you have two choices. See, if you take out the interest in the form of a payout, your rate of return remains 8.25%. But if you uh, keep the money there and take it out at the end of the investment period, then the rate becomes 8.42 because of the fact that this rate is compounded every half year. So that compounding and keeping the money in there raises your return by a few basis points, and which is what happens when you compound a money. So if you compare it to many other instruments, this is a very good rate, and which is why also you find that across all segments, be it retail investors, high net worth individuals, even institutions, this bond has received a good response.
And looking at that, Mr. Bhargav, what are the future plans? Coming up with more issues?
100%. The Indore is trendsetter for India, and we are in line to come up with the next bond for the remaining phase of this solar plant. And as our Honorable Chief Minister has also suggested, that we'll be implementing this for the other corporations also. And even for Indore, we have lot many plans, because by way of public participation only, the Indore has given a larger message of cleanliness. So this green bonds or a bond for development will be in line for many other things.
So, Arnav, I think this bond is getting listed on the 22nd now. What about the withdrawal scenario and the kind of tax implication an investor would have?
So there are two things here. When the bond gets listed, it provides an exit opportunity for investors who want to exit before the end of the tenure of the bond. So when it is traded on the secondary debt market, you will find that any investor who wants to liquidate their investment, or on the other side, if you have new investors who want to take an exposure to this bond, they can do so by the secondary market route. The second part is in terms of the taxability of the instrument. The interest which is earned on the bond is taxable in the hands of the investor. It will be taxable under the head of income from other sources. So that part is there. And if, for example, the investor holds the bond till maturity, redemption will be at the face value. So that is not going to give any capital gains. But if they have sold the bond in the capital market before the expiry period and they have either a capital gain or a capital loss, if there is a capital gain, then the period is that if it is sold before a period of 3 years, this is a short-term capital gain, which will be taxed at the applicable tax rate, tax slabs of the individual. If more than 3 years have passed, then this will be a long-term capital gains where the rate is 20% with the benefit of indexation.
A very interesting investment option for the investors. But Mr. Bhargav, now talking about themes, because this is something, you know, if you come up with something like this that has value in terms of investments, there's automatically an interest that we already witnessing in this particular bond. But this is the going green way. Which would be the next theme, or anything which is relevant to the society? Are you planning to do something on the same lines?
Certainly, we have a number of plans. Like the present one is a way forward for the general public or the citizens to give their participation in the development of their own municipal body, and for the green energy, for the better society, sustainable society. We have other projects like will be coming up with the second phase, as I have already told you. Uh, we are also planning to come up with some other uh, projects for generating green energy, and will be using the same idea.
All right, so going the greener way, and here are the bonds issued by Indore Municipal Corporation. Thank you so much, Mr. Bhargav, for being on the show and helping our viewers with this investment.